Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining our webinar today. Today, we're going to talk to you about Motive Card. We're super excited about everything we have to share. But I first wanted to just start with a little bit of housekeeping. So this webinar will be recorded and emailed to your inbox. You'll get a PDF copy and also a link to be able to watch it again on demand if you wanted to. And there's also a PDF copy of the presentation deck that you can download in the documents section during the webinar. We'll also be taking live Q&A at the end, but you can submit questions throughout. So if you see the little tab that says Q&A, please feel free to submit your questions there anytime throughout the presentation. We really appreciate you taking time out of your day today to learn more with us, and we're always really inspired by the feedback we get. So definitely would love for you to interact with us and ask us any of the questions that you have. Alrighty, so who are your speakers today? I'm Caroline Barragan. I am Head of Marketing for Motive's financial products. And I also have Sean Burns here with me, who is one of our senior SMEs for Motive Financial Products. He's going to cover a lot of the new product features that we have coming up and also talk about a customer testimonial as well. So excited to share more. All right, before we dive into Motive Card, I know we have some existing customers on the line, but we also just wanted to start with a little grounding in who is Motive, what do we do? So starting with our mission and the solutions we provide. Our goal is really to empower the people who run the physical operations with tools to make their work safer, more productive, and more profitable. And we believe we can make a meaningful impact on how work gets done. We're really motivated to do that. You can see this picture. It's actually 4 members of the team who were on site at an oil field in northern Canada, and they were making sure that our product was going to work in the extreme conditions that you see in your roles every single day. And I'd say that's kind of typical of the lengths that people at Motive go to try and make sure that our products are fit for purpose and going to give you excellent service. And if you follow us on LinkedIn, you'll see the Motive team out and about at customer sites, at industry events. We really invest a lot of time to understand what life is like for you. We have 4 product pillars. So let's look at those in a little bit more detail. We really have the only fully integrated operations platform. So we're enabling driver safety, we're enabling management of your fleet, we're enabling finance teams to manage their spend, and also management of equipment, all in a single system. This approach unifies data, it simplifies work processes, and it really simplifies operations because you don't need so many different tools and systems to manage all of these things. On top of that, and we'll touch on this a little bit in our product demo, we also have invested in industry-leading AI to give teams great visibility and control, and to significantly reduce manual workflows by automating and simplifying tasks. We build all of our hardware in-house, from AI cameras to vehicle gateways to asset gateways. And we've made a system that's incredibly reliable and easy to adopt and use. Okay, so that was Motive overall. Let's talk a little bit more about spend management and the challenges of data silos, how it kind of disconnects your fleet and spend. Firstly, just to talk a little bit about the people. So there's no doubt that roads are becoming more dangerous. There's a huge impact in terms of injuries, lives lost. That has a huge impact on costs for every company. And we know that that's got to change. The second thing we've observed as we talk to our customers is the amount of time spent on manual tasks. So whether that's a paper-based task, tasks across different systems, different departments, there's just a ton of back office effort that goes into a lot of the work that you're doing. And I think it can be, well, we hear from customers, it can be very stressful and cause a lot of challenges in terms of, making processes as efficient as they can be. And the final thing is continually rising costs or volatility of fuel costs. A lot of the basic inputs are costing more every year. That's impacting your bottom lines. We know that fuel price is very volatile. It might not be as high as it has been, but it's still a lot higher than it was a few years ago. And it continues to, go in peaks and troughs. And it's really hard to comprehend how to get all of that under control to improve profitability. If we go a little deeper on fragmented data and the disparate tools, you can see like that first number on the screen, 46% of leaders are using more than 10 tools to manage their operations. And what that results in is a lot of time spent on reactive versus proactive issues. So that fragmentation of data, that inability to like move quickly and have great visibility across all of your operations is really meaning that there's a lot of firefighting going on in terms of the way that businesses are being run. And then we also looked at, when we carried out this survey, which is where this data comes from, the amount that businesses report is being lost in revenue every year. It's a pretty staggering amount. Over $800,000 over the past 12 months is the average that our respondents were reporting. So a lot of opportunity there in terms of managing spend and increasing profitability. The way that these kind of 10 tools that people refer to plays out across the business is what you kind of see on this slide. So we see like each part of the business using a different set of tools. Some are good at like solving one single problem, but they don't necessarily integrate very well with the other tools around them. And people are just like jumping back and forth from place to place to get information. The biggest challenge with that is data being stuck in silos, not being able to spot issues in an efficient way, and not being able to connect all of those data points together in a single place to get insight into your business. That's where that's kind of like the basis for us developing our Motive Card spend management product. So if we look at the reasons why we built this product, we wanted to help businesses control their costs by giving them great discounts on fuel and maintenance and other categories. But what we really saw as the deepest point of value was the benefit of shared data from fleet management to spend management. So on the next slide, you can see how these things kind of come together. Everything managed in one dashboard related to fleet and spend. So there's no multiple logins, there's no spreadsheets, there's no need to reconcile across different card products. The shared data allows for accurate real-time reporting, all of the data and information being in one place, really able to spot trends by cardholder or by driver or vehicle, understand like where the biggest costs in your business are coming from, and reduce the number of hours required for back office spend. The other really cool thing, and we'll dig into this as we do our demo, is the shared data between our fleet management product and our spend management product also allows us to detect fraud in a really accurate, proactive, and almost real-time way. So we can give a lot more visibility into issues that are affecting businesses that are currently hidden and that people tell us are like really, really hard for them to get good information on and know what it's even costing them, or let alone do something about it. Okay, so before we dive into the actual demo of the product, I just wanted to tell you a little bit more about some of the unique things related to Motive Card. So this is a MasterCard product. That means that your card holders can use this anywhere MasterCard is accepted. We've heard from a lot of our customers who've had incumbent providers that they've been managing kind of several different cards, each for different spend categories. That drives a lot of hassle in terms of reconciliation, reimbursing employees for expenses they might have made on personal credit cards, just a ton of like back office work there. One of the other unique things about Motive Card as well is our no hidden fees. So the only fee that we charge is a late payment fee and an ATM withdrawal fee. We don't charge any of the like fraud detection fees or monthly usage fees or transaction fees that you see from a lot of other really big card providers. So, you know, what we say you get in savings, you really get back in savings. It's not eaten up by all these other hidden fee costs, which is what we have seen from, you know, when we do transaction file analysis of customers who have had cards with competitors. All right, so that was just a bit of a basic lay of the land. What I'm going to do now, and bear with me because I have to flip between different screens. I'm going to go ahead and show you what the product actually looks like in the Motive dashboard. So gonna share my screen and then I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger, so you're not gonna see me for the duration of the demo, but means you'll be able to see everything on the screen a little bit easier. Okay, so I talked about Motive being the only company that connects fleet and spend in a single integrated dashboard. So what does that mean? It means your data is no longer trapped in many different systems that you have to manually try and piece together. If you manage fleet and spend in one system, you can gain valuable insights as a result of the shared data, and you can increase productivity and profitability. So for those of you who are already customers of Motive, you will recognize this dashboard. This is your fleet view where you manage your vehicles. And if you're not already a customer, you're still thinking about taking the Motive product, this will give you a good insight into what does our dashboard look like. Okay, so I am going to click on our cards tab, and this takes me to the cards section of the dashboard. This is where you can gain insights into every area related to spend management. So right now we're on the overview tab. You can see there is a snapshot here of total spend on the card, total savings, what your average daily spend is, and you can look at this 7-day, you can flip to 14-day, you can flip to 28-day views. You can also see your credit limit over here, your current balance, how much credit you have available, and when your next payment date is. So really everything that you would expect from a card product is really contained in this dashboard. This chart in the middle is really helpful because it gives you a snapshot view of how your fleet spend breaks down. So looking at it by category, you can see like, okay, where is the bulk of my spend going? Usually it is on fuel, but it's kind of nice to see the breakdown view here. And then we also have this in and out of network activity chart. This shows how much of your spend you're getting rebates on. So are your cardholders fueling up at our discount partner locations, and to what extent? That is an issue that some of our customers struggle with. So like their drivers don't always choose the cheapest places to fuel up. We have actually some really cool functionality on that launching very soon, which Sean's going to talk more about. But I'll just show you what's currently live in the dashboard. You can see this table has your cards with the highest spend. So you can see like, okay, who are my businesses costing the most money? And you can drill down into their behaviors and look at areas where you might need to coach them. Now, one way Motive can help with that beyond coaching is also to reduce out of policy spend through our customizable spend controls. So these allow you to restrict card usage within certain parameters and control how much your cardholders are spending. I'm going to hop over to our admin view, and I'm going to show you an example of creating a new spend profile. Okay, so if I create spend profile for me as a driver, the first control you'll see here is time limits. So imagine I'm a driver, I only work, say, Monday to Wednesday, and my working hours are from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I can adjust the controls here so that I set the card to only work during these times. So after they clock off, card cuts off, not able to use it for after hours spend. You can also set limits by day, week, month, billing cycle. So if you know, say, okay, it costs $300, say, to fill up my vehicle's gas tank, I can do a per transaction limit of $300 based on the mileage I'm covering. I need to fill up my tank twice a day, so I'm going to set a $600 limit per day. I might also want to restrict the categories that cardholders can purchase from. So, for example, I might want to restrict this only to be at pump. I know they travel on toll roads, so I'm going to enable tolls, and also a lot of overnight stops, so I can enable lodging as well. The great thing about these spend controls is you can change them instantly in this dashboard. So, say, for example, one of your vehicles gets in a fender bender, they need maintenance, they need a tow. You can, as a fleet manager, you can come into this dashboard and you can enable maintenance and towing for this card. They can spend on their card immediately, get the help that they need. And then once you know they've already carried out that transaction, you can just go ahead and remove it and it automatically updates. So really simple, really easy to use. You can literally make the changes a couple of clicks of a button. The other thing you can do is block locations if there's certain places you don't want your cardholders to be spending. So as you can see, we have a few blocked locations here. Some of these are for obvious reasons. Buffalo Wild Wings, McDonald's. We don't want the drivers to be using these at those locations. But then you can also, you could block Shell and BP if you know, hey, they always have higher prices on fuel, so I'm just going to go ahead and block those two locations. Or, oh, I have challenges with people going and buying some stuff for their own home DIY at Home Depot. Obviously, these are made up scenarios, but it just shows you kind of the flexibility of the card and, not being able to deter out of policy spend and purchases. The other thing that we've found has gotten great feedback in terms of deterring out of policy spend is our mobile-based unlock. So by checking this box, this requires all cards to be locked. And what it means is the driver must then either text the Motive number from the phone linked to their account or use the driver's app to unlock the card before they make a transaction. When they unlock it, it's open for 30 minutes, after which time the card locks again. So you can choose to enable or disable this for your fleet. The one thing I would say, beyond it stopping the temptation for like personal purchases on the card, it is a really great feature for protecting against card skimming. So I know a lot of our competitor products still rely on PIN numbers. I've heard crazy stories of people writing their PIN numbers on their card, maybe that's like their last 4 digits of their social. Lots of people say they use. They then drop the card on the floor. That card's compromised. We also see a ton of tampering at pump, at the like chip and pin machine, where fraudsters can skim both the card number and the pin to use it themselves. So as long as you have this mobile-based unlock turned on, the card cannot be used unless the cardholder has unlocked it using their device. So really cool feature, which I think adds a lot of valuable protection beyond chip and pin. Now, as we're on the topic of fraud, I'm going to show you some other functionality we have that helps to protect your business from fraudulent transactions. So I mentioned earlier that shared data between fleet and spend enables cost-saving insights. So we're able to use data from our fleet telematics product, the GPS, the location tracking, and we can match this with spend on Motive Card and use AI to automatically surface suspicious transactions. So under our action center here, we have suspicious spend, flagged transactions. I'm going to click in here. The feature that we have live right now is called vehicle and spend location mismatch. So our shared data means that we can see both the location of your vehicle and the location where the purchase using the Motive Card was made. So we can drill into this. If we get a suspicious transaction that's like, hey, we noticed this vehicle was 64, almost 65 miles away from where the Motive Card swipe happened, you can, review your alert, go take a look at it in more detail. So if I click on vehicle history location, I can actually go in. Takes a little while just because of my internet to load, but I can go in and just like have a look in more detail. There's this video that you can drill into to see where was the vehicle when the transaction took place, look at exact time of it, all of the other details related to the cardholder. So lots of opportunity to investigate further. The other thing which is awesome about this is you are detecting fraud in what I would say like the front view, not in the rear view mirror. So bear with me on that analogy. But what I've heard from customers is like a lot of times fraud is hidden because the systems aren't talking to each other. It takes a very, very long time to spot because of all the like manual reconciliations across data that you have to do. Motive is doing all that work for you, and we are literally surfacing this pretty much as it happens. We say near real time. It's not like the exact moment. It's probably like a few minutes afterwards. But what it means is you can go in, you can block the card. So if I go back to my suspicious spend, I can literally take action here and say, freeze the card. So you can then talk to the cardholder, see what's going on, and stop any future suspicious transactions happening before you've been able to sort that out. So Sean's going to tell you a bit more about some other fraud detection features that are going to launch soon, but we really see this as like a great place to drive down costs for your business. And that combination of spend controls and suspicious transaction alerts, you can really reduce fraud that you might not even know is happening right now, put those savings straight back onto your bottom line. Talking of savings, we're really proud. We've built a network of discount partners nationwide, which is over 25,000 partner locations. So we're offering big discounts on fuel, on maintenance, on other fleet-related spend. So our benefits tab here in the dashboard, it shows you all of our partners and the discounts associated with them. I'm just going to show you a couple here. So Loves, you'll see 21 cents off per gallon on diesel. This map shows you all the locations that Motive is working with on Loves nationwide. Another discount partner that we have, 7 Fleet. So 7-Eleven and the Speedway network, there we have discounts on both diesel and gasoline. We've also got some driver-facing functionality to help drivers navigate to the best savings. So Sean will talk about that in a few minutes. From here, I'm just going to go back to our overview tab. This total savings box is really where you can see all those rebates from discount partners adding up over time. So just a ton of data for you to be able to track trends in the business and really see how much things are costing you and where there's opportunity to drive down those costs. The last feature I want to show you today is our automated reporting functionality. So I've had so many customers tell me they don't have an accurate way of reporting on all their transactions and that it's taking them hours and hours to reconcile everything to file their IFTA reports. I actually had one customer, Cascade, who after taking Motive Card, they saved themselves 800 hours a month. That's a month on IFTA reporting, which is just wild. That, you know, that's not like, oh, my diesel price went down, but it's like, wow, I've got 800 hours back that I didn't have before to go do other stuff. So Motive Card does everything for IFTA for you. And that's possible because we have that 360-degree view of your data. So I'm going to show you how you can file for IFTA in just a few seconds. This is our reports page within the dashboard. So when you're using Motive Telematics, we have your vehicle, location, jurisdiction, fuel data, really everything you need to calculate IFTA. But the great thing is you don't have to calculate it. We do it for you. So if I click on IFTA here, then I click on fuel purchase details. Is it being slow? Oh, no, there we go. You can see all of your Motive Card transactions and vehicle data are populating automatically. So literally no input, no more painful data collection, no more calculations. All you have to do is go up here, click export. You can decide PDF or CSV, and that's it. Like, it's so instant. Everything's done. You can, you know, go do all the long list of all the other tasks that you have. So that's the end of my demo for today. I hope that you enjoyed kind of seeing what the product looks like in the actual dashboard, got a good sense of like the ease of functionality and the CX. I'm going to hop back over here and Sean is going to take us forward and talk about he's going to talk about some of the driver-facing functionality that goes with what I showed you, and then also some new features.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Caroline. Thanks, everybody, for joining today. So wanted to do a little bit deeper of a dive on some of the features that we talked about during the demo here. The first is around how drivers utilize our cards. Caroline had touched on issues that we've heard from customers in the past around PIN sharing, people writing pins on the back of cards. So what Motive has done to give our customers advanced security is allowing them to lock these cards down until the driver needs to use them. The driver then has 2 options, either using the Motive Driver app or through an SMS text message to unlock these cards. What this does is it limits the risk of these cards being used outside of that 30-minute window. So ensuring that the driver unlocking the card is the driver that's been assigned to that card, and also making sure, again, that the driver is unlocking that prior to making any type of purchase. What we found with this is we're drastically able to drastically cut the potential for fraud, and have found a great way for us to unlock these cards without the traditional PIN that's needed. Next up, I'm going to switch slides here. Next up, I want to talk about a new feature that we released just the past couple of months ago. So we now have the ability to do cash advances for Motive customers. What this means is, as an administrator, you're able to determine which drivers have access to cash advances, the amount that they're able to purchase, the frequency that they're able to withdraw those funds. And the same limits that we have available for fuel purchases are also available through cash advances. And so we can set very stringent controls around total amount of cash being withdrawn on a weekly or monthly basis, as well as the amount that is being withdrawn. And again, which drivers are able to do this. What's great is that this is all controlled through the spend profiles that Caroline showed us earlier. And so similar to that, this is all done in real time. So you have the ability to enable and disable this function for specific drivers on your fleet. Next, I want to talk a little bit about our partner network. So we do have about 25,000 stations all across the US that are part of the Motive discount network. We have both gas and diesel discounts, and we are continually growing this. We typically add a couple of partners on a quarterly basis. So what's great to see here is that we've got a lot of major brands like your Loves and TAs and Speedway and 7-Eleven, but we also have a good amount of mom and pop shops with just a single station. And so regardless of where your fleet is operating, regardless of the type of fuel they're purchasing or the type of vehicles they're operating, Motive has a solution to help you save on those gallons. On top of that, what you're seeing on the screenshot here is actually an example of our savings finder. So as your drivers are running down the road, they're able to look at the Motive driver app and see not only where the Motive card is accepted, because it is MasterCard, it's accepted anywhere a MasterCard is accepted, but it also does show them the discounts that we have at available stations. And so drivers are able to make an informed decision about where they're stopping to fill up their vehicle. We also have the ability to route the drivers directly to these locations. Last piece on this, and Caroline talked about the ability to block merchants. What's great about this is that if you were to block a merchant through the dashboard, that merchant would show up as blocked on the savings finder. So an additional layer of security to make sure your drivers are aware of where the cards are and are not accepted. We've released a good amount of product updates over the past 12 months. This is one that I think is really set to be a major differentiator for the Motive card. What we're looking at here is our missed savings report. And so Motive has a long history of helping fleets coach their drivers on operating their vehicles in a safe manner, making sure that they're staying up with compliance. What Motive is going to give you the ability to do here is to start managing drivers and coaching drivers on operating efficiently. So obviously, bottom line numbers are very important to our fleets. And so what we wanted to put together is a report that comes out on a weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly basis that shows you exactly how many missed savings dollars you had missed out on in that time frame. So this could be as simple as a driver is going to station A, that is outside of Motive's discount network, but they have another station 1.5 miles down the road that is within the network and could offer additional savings. And so what Motive is going to be pushing out is notifications to let you know that you have drivers that are consistently fueling at non-partner stations. Not only are we going to provide that information, but we're also going to show you where the closest accepting discount partner that Motive has is. So the goal with this is to, again, really help improve our fleet customers' bottom line by making sure their drivers are picking the most cost-efficient stations whenever they go to fuel. So we've talked a lot about the features and how we help our customers. What we've seen in the couple of years that the Motive card has been live are some drastic reductions in things like operating costs and productivity. So being able to have a single source of truth and a single dashboard that you log into on a daily basis without having to run to your current fuel provider, matching that information up with Motive to do things like IFTA filings. So we've seen a drastic drop in the amount of operating costs tied to fleet cards. Next is the ability to reduce fraud, misuse, or abuse. When we talk about fraud, obviously we all think of the card skimmers, bad actors out there stealing cards. The other major key to that is that it's not always just fraud. You may have abuse within the organization. And so Motive provides the information necessary to make sure that every dollar being spent is going into a company vehicle for a company authorized transaction. And lastly, on the fuel and maintenance side, Motive is able to deliver some really intelligent information around how fuel is being used. And so this goes beyond just total number of fuel gallons a vehicle may be using or a driver may be using, but doing things like telling you exactly what idling events are costing you in terms of dollars. And so being able to coach drivers to say, over the past 30 days, you had 16 hours of idling, which had a bottom line cost of $35. The goal is going to be to get you down to 15 by the time we meet next month. Again, being able to provide hard data to drivers, we've found helps increase the ability to coach. And so using this information, we're able to tell you exactly how much things like idling costs are affecting the business. And lastly, before we turn it over for a Q&A here, did want to highlight a really exciting story from one of our customers here. Hardy Harper had come to Motive to look into telematics and tracking. Very interested in cutting out any additional man hours that was necessary with their current provider. So what Motive did is we put together an all-in-one solution for Hardy Harper. They weren't interested in cards at the time, but they had an opportunity to see some of the features and functionality of the cards and decided to jump fully in with Motive here. What they've seen is a drastic dip in their overall cost of fuel, about 25% drop in fuel. And this is done through a couple of different things. Not only is it done through our discount network, but it's also we're able to route their drivers to specific stations that have lower costs. So they've seen a drastic increase in total savings here, and they're managing their entire fleet out of a single dashboard. So not only saving on money, but also saving on time and productivity. And with that, we'll turn it over to Caroline for Q&A.
Yeah, that wraps up our content for today. I hope you really all enjoyed hearing about the Motive card, how it can enhance productivity, proactively reduce fraud, cut wasteful spending, and really structurally reduce your fuel and maintenance costs, help with that fuel optimization as well that Sean was talking about. So with that, let's look at our questions. Okay, so first question is from Troy. Can you elaborate a little on the ability to give and take privileges purchasing fuel? I know Sean has already answered this with regards to custom spend controls. Do you want to say a little bit more, Sean?
Sure. Yeah. So we allow our customers to set up spend profiles either at an entire fleet level or by driver. So what this allows you to do is to give different drivers, different groups or different divisions, different types of access on the cards. And so you could have one set of drivers that are a fuel only driver. You could have a different group of drivers that have things like maintenance, tow, and hotels available. So it allows you to be as granular as you want when it comes to setting up controls for your drivers.
Awesome. Shane asked, are these fuel cards accepted everywhere like a MasterCard or a Visa card? The answer is yes. That is the beauty of this card. It's not restricted to a specific fuel station or fuel provider. If you set up zero spend controls, zero time limits, you could literally use this card anywhere that MasterCard is accepted. Now, clearly you're going to want to add some restrictions and profiles for your fleet, but it does mean that it's flexible across lots of different businesses that we know, purchase it kind of lots of different things to run their business. So that's a beauty. You can just give your employees one card and you do not need to worry about like the reconciliation across lots of different cards for lots of different people doing lots of different jobs. Okay, another question from Mark. Do the reports compare fuel used versus fuel purchased by unit? Do you want to talk a little bit more about that, Sean? Because we didn't show the fuel efficiency hub, but I know we do have a lot of data on that.
We do. Yeah. So by utilizing both the Motive telematics, hardware, software, and the spend management, we're able to tell you exact amounts of fuel that are used by each of your vehicles and the dollar amount associated with those vehicles. On top of this, we are rolling out a new feature late in Q2 that will be tank level monitoring. And so that would allow you to see what the tank level of the vehicle was when you fueled up and what the tank level was when you left the station. So this would drastically cut out any instances where a driver maybe allowing somebody to come in behind them to fuel up and not just filling up their company vehicle.
Yeah, that's another one of those super cool fraud detection, like proactively knowing, hey, that looks funky. Like, doesn't your vehicle only carry X number of gallons? And suddenly we've seen a lot more than that added in. So I can't wait for that to come out. Okay, Tim asked, how do we monitor the current fuel price with the market value? So actually, we are working with Gas Buddy on that. So we pull in Gas Buddy data, which has, I think, very good coverage across network of fuel providers in the US. So we're showcasing that value. When we launch our Miss Savings feature, we show the price, but then we also show like what you get back on rebates. So you'll find with Miss Savings, you know, we're not just going to show you like, hey, it was cheaper at this motive card partner. We're going to show you like all of the stations. And so more than likely, it's always going to be cheaper with a motive card discount partner just because you're getting that rebate back, but you'll have the breadth of information that will allow you to coach your drivers and make those decisions. Okay, from Natalie, can card availability be set to turn on or off when a driver logs on and logs off to motive? Sean.
Caroline. Yes. No. So a great question, Natalie. And so this is actually a feature that we're currently working on today. Love the idea. What we do have the ability to do as it stands right now is set specific days of week and time of day that cards are active. And so if your driver has a schedule, we're able to set up a spend profile that matches that driver's schedule. So the card is only active during their operating business hours.
Nice. Okay. Lost my place in the questions. Gloria, how is billing handled? Is it separate statements for each card or one combined statement for all cards? I believe it's one combined statement for all cards. And so you are paying one bill payment per month. You're not paying individual card payments per month.
And just to double on that, we also do provide on our invoice statement the ability to break down the transactions by specific vehicles, by driver, and by groups. And so you'll receive one invoice with all of your transactions broken out into multiple different buckets so that you could see exact amounts of fueling by, again, vehicles, groups, and by drivers.
Okay, Darren asks about system issues and he's seen motive card listed on that. Does that mean only motive settings are not accessible, or does that mean the cards won't work? I think you're talking about like downtime if there's a system outage. I don't believe that affects card payments because we're running off MasterCard. I don't know, Sean, if you've seen that. I haven't seen that happen where we've had any card outage before.
That's correct. Yeah. So since the cards run on the MasterCard rails, it is separate from the motive system. And so cards would still be available for use if, in the fact, there was a downage or an outage with the hardware and software.
Yeah. Awesome. Bo, how do I see itemized receipts? So we have transaction level reporting, and I didn't show it today because I didn't drill into absolutely everything, but you are able to see kind of itemized transaction details in the reporting section of the dashboard. We also are, we do have enabled as well, if you want to, for your fleet, you can require the driver to upload a receipt as well afterwards if that's needed for your business. So it's kind of like a post-transaction requirement. The driver can take a photo of the receipt and upload it in the app as well. So there's a couple of ways that you can drill into the itemized purchases. Okay, I see it on suspicious spend transactions, but not on the majority. Maybe it sounds like maybe you already have the card, Bo, and we can help you with your CSM potentially if you need a little bit of help just navigating the transactions. We can do that. Okay. From Shane, are Sheets locations on your list of providers that offer a discount? I don't believe we have a Sheets discount right now.
We do not. So they do accept our cards, but not currently in our discount network. I am waiting with bated breath there, though, because those sheet sandwiches are some of my favorite. So hopefully in the near future.
Awesome. Can I add manual transactions for bulk fuel automatically?
Yes, we do have the ability to upload fuel reports from bulk providers directly into the fuel hub on the Motive dashboard.
Nice. Okay. For access instead of pins, what if we do not allow drivers to utilize apps on their phone? We utilize a tablet in the cab. What are the workarounds for this? So they can use SMS. You don't need to have the app to be able to unlock the card. You can actually text the Motive card number and you use the last 4 digits of the card, and then it will unlock in the same fashion that it does using the app. So not restricted to doing that in the app.
And the other option with that, Laura, is that we could put the Motive Driver app onto the tablet within the trucks, and drivers could unlock it as soon as they pull into a station.
Okay, I think we already covered this question on fuel. What is the cost of fuel that you are offering? Is it the off-pump price or over OPIS price or over your cost?
Good question. So Tim, we've got a couple of different, we do have some partners that offer a cost plus pricing. The majority of our discounts, though, at those 25,000 stations are a retail minus.
Okay, who pays the fees for card processing to MasterCard? For example, if there's a credit card processing fee of 2% for each transaction, who pays that?
Our customers are not responsible for any transaction fees associated with using the cards. So that the only fee that you would see passed on to the customer would be an ATM fee for a cash advance, but we do not pass on interchange costs to our customers.
Amazing. It comes back to that no hidden fees that I was talking about earlier. Is there a monthly charge per card to have the Motive card? No, that is not. And that's what we love about this card, because we do see so many of our competitors charging that monthly fee, charging insane transaction fees or fraud protection fees or whatever it might be. So no, it is literally, if you do not pay your bill on time, you will get a late fee. Obviously, that's within your control. And then, ATM fees, which are very minimal. And obviously, with cash advances, I think Sean said this earlier, but there's the ability to just switch that on for a few people in your fleet. It's whoever needs it. You don't need to let every card holder have the ability to advance cash. I think that's all our questions. Let's go to our last slide, because we did want to end with... for some reason, I'm not seeing the button to move it forward. So thank you. Okay, so if you see the Docs tab here, there's a ton of resources you can download there if you want to talk, if you want to learn, read a bit more about some of the topics we touched on today. If you click on that Get Started button that you see at the top of the screen, you can request a transaction file analysis. So everything we talked about today was kind of general, here's the discounts we provide. As Sean touched on, this is like flexible for the size of fleet, like where you do most of your fueling. The best way that we can tell you how much you can save for your fleet is by doing an analysis of your current transaction file. We have opportunity to do direct discounts. There's a lot of wiggle room in terms of like how we do our pricing. So the best way we get started with that is seeing how much you're fueling up, seeing what you're spending right now, what discounts, what fees you have right now, and going from there in terms of a personalized estimate. I will also say, if you are a current Motive customer, we have some great promotions as well. So we have promotions that give you up to 20% off your total contract value that you currently have with Motive. Just depends on how big your fleet is and how big your contract value is. But there's some great promotions there. We've got some really cool onboarding promotions for percent back with spend. So definitely worth hitting that button. Or of course, you can always reach out to your rep, get a personalized demo of what I showed you today, talk to them about it in a bit more detail. But with that, I will say thank you for your attention. It was really great to have so many questions and interaction today. As I said, you'll get a PDF, you'll get the webinar sent to your inbox. And yeah, we hope to hear from you soon. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.